I'd like to call the Senate session. Mr. Clerk, please read the roll.
Barnett, Barrett, Blackman, Blackwell, Bunt, Boyd, Branning, Ryan, Butler to 36, Butler to Kaufman, Chazanall, Chisholm, DeBar, Delano, England, Fillingame, Frazier, Harkins, Hickman, Hill, Hobson, Horn, Jackson, Johnson, Jordan, Kirby, McCollum, McDaniel, McClendon, McMahon, Michelle, Moran, Norwood, Parker, Parks, Pope, Seymour, Simmons of the 12th, Simmons of the 13th, Sojourner, Spark, Suber, Tate, Thomas, Thompson, Turner, Ford, Whaley, Wiggins, Williams, Younger. Mr. President, a quorum is present.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Will the senators and guests in the gallery please rise for the invocation to be given by Dr. Walker D. Wright, who is the pastor for Whitestone Missionary Baptist Church in Memphis, Tennessee, also from Vicksburg, Mississippi, my neighbor, and it is a gift of Senator Kevin Blackwell. The invocation will be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance by Senator Blackwell. Dr. Wright.
Good morning, and thank you for allowing me to share with you these precious moments. And believe me, they are precious. Lieutenant Governor Hoseman, a kind man and a great leader, fellow Vicksburger, Senator Kevin Blackwell, Mrs. Vicki Blackwell, of course, his wife. That's how I met him. Governor Reeves, and all of the excellent and committed senators across Mississippi who comprise a unique, diverse group of citizens that once was unthinkable. Also, thanks to Ms. Shirley and her staff and the fine hospitality, I am reminded of what the late Helen Keller once said, alone we can do so little, together we can do so much. Booker T. Washington, who spoke in Vicksburg over 100 years ago, once said, if you want to lift yourself up, lift up someone else. Albert Schweitzer, in a speech to students somewhere in the late 1800s, said, I don't know what your destiny will be, but one thing I know, the ones among you who will be ready or really, really happy are those who have sought and found how to serve. David in Psalm 133, verse 1 said, how good and pleasant it is when God's people live in unity. Let us pray. Almighty God, the creator of all life forms and the redeemer of human souls, give us this day a spirit to see more clearly how we might encourage this body to continue to serve in the face of so many challenges. May this body of great minds and determined wills mesh together in a way that will cause us all to see your power at work. Help us, O Lord, to help those chosen men and women who are committed to serving this state's citizens as best as they know how. Guide them, O Lord, as they make choices today that will affect us all long term. Lord, also help them to overcome the temptation to be sidetracked by the enemy of good and right. And Lord, give them the boldness to siege and pursue all avenues and goals that you have ordained for their lives of service to this present age. May history be kind to them as they respond today in moments of truth and trust. And it is in the name of Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dr. Wright. You're welcome. Thank you very much.
I'll talk to you when you get your announcement.
Thank you, Dr. Wright. Now the reading of the Journal. Senator Polk, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate dispense with reading of the journal.
Senator moves to dispense with the reading of the journal. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Message and petitions, Mr. Clerk.
Mr. President, there are none.
Committee reports, Senator Polk, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate dispense with the reading of the committee reports.
Senator moves to dispense with the reading of the committee reports. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Next is the reading of the titles of the bills and resolution. I recognize Senator Polk.
Mr. President, I move the Senate dispense with reading of the titles of the bills and resolutions.
Senator moves to dispense with the reading of the titles of bills and resolutions. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Now, introduction of guests. Introduction of guests. Senator Younger, you're recognized for introduction.
Thank you, Mr. President. In the West Gallery today, the Senate is lucky to have the Mississippi Cattlemen's Association members. And from Forest County, we have Colton McMurray. From Clay County, we have B.J. McClinton. From Tate County, we have Wes Anglin. From Tate County again, we have David McDonald. Channing Parker from Jones County. Jared Freeman from Smith County. Carl Parker from Covington County. And Andy Berry and his assistant, Tori Morris, is helping them guide them around the Capitol Day. Please give them a warm welcome, Senate.
Thank you, Senator Younger. Senator Whaley, you're recognized for an introduction.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today, we're honored to have with us the Northwest Community College football team. I'd like to brag on these young men and coaches for just a minute. They are the reigning the conference champions for 2021 and 2022. It's an amazing group of young men. They're led by Coach Parker, Coach Oakley, Coach Hill, Coach Jones, Coach Anders, Coach Pittman, and Coach Jones. And like I said, these are the back-to-back conference champions. So if these men would please stand, I'm going to ask the Senate to please make them feel welcome. And also, this morning we've met with them. This is Senator Parker, Blackwell, McClendon, Chazanall, Boyd, Suber, and Senator Jackson. And once again, we'd like all of you to know that we're extremely proud of you and like to see you back next year for that 3 years in a row. Thank you.
I actually went to your game. Very exciting. Y'all got way ahead early on for, I think it was Hines, I believe it was Hines Junior College. So congratulations to each of you. Senator Blackwell, you're recognized for an introduction, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask the Senate Director attention to the smokers table. In addition to Dr. Wright being here, we have his lovely wife, Emily. I'd like the Senator to welcome her.
May Emily. Thank you. Other introductions. Senator Horn, you're recognized for introduction of pages.
Philip Chandler's your sponsor tomorrow, but I can't go.
Yeah, I'm in.
Just touch base with him.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. As they come into the chamber, I think that the Senate is honored to have such a fine group of young men and women to serve as pages for us this week. And as I call your name out, if you would step forward and raise your hand so that we'll know who you are. First of all, representing Senator Nicole Boyd, we have Claranne Pugh from Oxford, Ann Brooke Wood, also from Oxford, Ethan Moses from D.C. by way of Jackson, Donovan Pearl, Donovan Reed from Pearl, and Donovan and Ethan are my pages for this week. We have from Jackson, Caroline Bennett, representing the Lieutenant Governor, Ann Grace Campbell from Vaughn, representing the Lieutenant Governor, Reagan Johnson from Jackson, representing Lieutenant Governor Hoseman. Austin Moore from Vaughan, representing Lieutenant Governor. Reese Prestridge from Hattiesburg, representing the Lieutenant Governor. Sophie Roden from Jackson, representing the Lieutenant Governor. Also, we have Ms. Madison Thomas from Clinton, and she is also the niece of Senator Joseph Thomas, representing the Lieutenant Governor. Representing Senator Melanie Sojourner, Will Donald from Caledonia. Mentia Trippitter from Jackson, representing Senator Sojourner. And representing Senator Mike Thompson, Italian Johnson from Edwards, and Trace Tyson from Florida, representing Senator Thompson. Ask that the Senate salute these incredible young men and women, future leaders of Mississippi.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Michelle, you're recognized for introduction.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to welcome a familiar face to our chamber today as Doctor of the Day, Dr. Sidney Bondurant. Of course, Dr. Bondurant served in the Mississippi House when he was, I think he had been retired at that time, OBGYN in Grenada, and now I'm proud to say he lives in Madison, and we want to thank you very much for joining us today, Representative Dr. Bondurant.
Great to see you again, Sid. Appreciate all your service to Mississippi in the House and as a physician. Introduction, Senator Younger.
Hello?
Yes.
Today is Ag Day, National Ag Day. I just wanted to remind everybody, because everybody likes to eat, and Will Donald is representing me from Caledonia. He might have taken the place for Senator Sojourner's spot. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no other introductions, we'll go to the calendar. Item number 1, Senator Harkins. Senator Harkins. Pass. Senator Bryan. Pass. Senator Barnett. Pass. Senator Michelle. Senator Michelle. All these retain their place upon the calendar. Senator Bryan. Pass. Senator Chasnow. Senator Chasnow. Pass. Senator Michelle. Pass. Retain place on the calendar. Chairman Barnett. Pass. 9 and 10. So that's items 1 through 10. Number 11, corrections. Pass. Senator Polk. Senator Hobson. Senator Hobson. Pass. 12, 13, 14, and 15. Retain their place upon the calendar. Chairman Bryan. Chairman Bryan. Senator Whaley, did you have him? You're good? Chairman Bryan passes 16 to 17. Chairman Simmons. Pass number 18. There are no conference reports filed from 19 to 74. They'll all retain their place upon the calendar. And we'll go over to 75, excuse me, which is in conference finance. Chairman Harkins. Pass 75 to 85 will be passed as no reports have been filed. So 75 to 85. Now on 86, Chairman Kirby. Pass 86 and 87. No reports filed. Chairman McMahon. Chairman McMahon. We're on 88, sir. I don't think you have any reports. You pass 88 to 200. Boy, we're gonna have a busy, fixing to have a busy time, man. Okay. Senate would go to number 200 on page 25, please. Okay, we come to Chairman Seymour. Chairman Seymour, recognized. Please proceed. Number 201, Senate.
Mr. President, I'd like to suspend the rules to take up items 201 through 207 in block.
Well, we don't have to suspend the rules. We're on the calendar. Oh, you're going to do it in, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. So it's in block 201 through what, sir? 207?
207.
Yeah, anyone wish to set one aside? Anyone wish to set one aside? Seeing none, inbox granted. Please proceed. All in favor signify by saying aye. Opposed, no. You're ready.
Mr. President, I'd like to have the titles read.
Mr. Clerk, please read titles.
Senate nomination number 66, Colonel Clifford Allen, Allen McDaniel, second. Flowood, Mississippi State Veterans Affairs Board to represent the state at large, unexpired 5-year term effective September 1st, 2021 and ending May 31st, 2025. Senate nomination number 67, B.G. Billy Lamar Pierce, retired, Decatur, Mississippi, State Veterans Affairs Board to represent the 3rd Congressional District as it existed in 1992, unexpired 5-year term effective September 1st, 2021 and ending May 31st, 2025. SFC, James Max Finn, Jr., USA, retired, Macomb, Mississippi State Veterans Affairs Board to represent the 4th Congressional District as such district existed on March 1st, 1992, unexpired 5-year term effective July 27, 2021 and ending May 31st, 2026. Senate nomination number 89, Dan Henry Hank Singley, Jr., DMD, Meridian, Mississippi, Veterans Home Purchase Board to represent the 3rd Congressional District as it existed on May 1st, 1987, unexpired 4-year term effective August 2nd, 2021 and ending June 30th, 2024. Senate nomination number 90, Richard E. Dickey Stevens, Isola, Mississippi, Veterans Home Purchase Board to represent the 2nd Congressional District as it existed on May 1st, 1987, unexpired 4-year term effective August 2nd, 2021 and ending June 30th, 2023. Senate nomination number 107, Chris Anthony Stockstill, Picayune, Mississippi, Veterans Home Purchase Board, unexpired 4-year term effective February 4th, 2022 and ending June 30th, 2022, representing the 5th Congressional District. Senate nomination number 108, Chris Anthony Stockstill, Picayune, Mississippi, Veterans Home Purchase Board, 4-year term effective July 1st, 2022 and ending June 30th, 2026, representing the 5th Congressional District.
Okay, we're ready, Senator.
Mr. President, we'd like to advise and consent. These men appeared before the committee yesterday. There was no derogatory information on their peer reports, and my motion is to advise and consent by use of the morning roll call.
Any questions? Any questions? Seeing no questions, Senator Whaley, do you have a question? Okay, just
Introduction at the proper time.
Okay, one second. Seeing no questions, anyone object to the procedure? Morning roll call has been asked to be utilized. Anyone object to procedure? We should be, of course, voting no. Present. Seeing none, the bill's passed, Mr. Clerk. Senator Bryan. Senator Whaley, you want to do your introduction while Senator Bryan's coming forward, please?
Thank you, Mr. President. Once again, I have a group from Northwest Community College. In the West Gallery, I'd ask that the Northwest Community College cheerleading team stand, please. On behalf of Senator Parker, Senator Blackwell, McClendon, Chazanall, Boyd, Suber, Jackson, and myself, we'd like to recognize this group of young ladies and men as they are the back-to-back national champions in the cheerleading competition. And ask that the Senate would please make them feel welcome.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you.
And also, I'd like to recognize Dr. Heindel, President of the Community College himself. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc. Good to see you, Dr. Heindel. Congratulations, national champions. Senator Bryan, you're recognized for what purpose, sir?
I move to suspend the rules for the immediate consideration of item 2 on the non-concurrence calendar.
Senator Bryan's moved to suspend the rules. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Senator Bryan, we're on.
I ask the title be read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title number 2.
Senate Bill number 2899, Community Mental Health Centers provide health insurers may not deny the right to participate as a contract provider.
I move we do not concur and invite conference.
Questions? Seeing no questions, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Thank you, Senator.
Mr. President, I move that we suspend the rules for the immediate consideration of item 6.
Senator's requested suspension of the rules. Anyone? All in favor, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Please proceed, Senator.
I ask that the title be read.
Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2735, freestanding emergency room, revised definition to include rural emergency hospital.
I move we do not concur but invite conference.
Senator moves invite, not concur, and invite conference. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. Please proceed, Senator.
Mr. President, I move for the immediate consideration of item 17 on today's calendar.
Suspend the rules. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. 17. We're ready. Mr. Clerk, please read the title.
Senate Bill number 2818, Mississippi Department of Health and Mississippi Department of Revenue provide exemptions for operation under Medical Cannabis Act.
I move that we do concur, and I would ask that the Senate amendment be put on the screen. Mr. President, this is the legislation that was to provide the technical assistance to the Department of Health that they need to implement the marijuana legislation. There was another request when this legislation got to the House, and the House amendment, which you see on the screen, is a relatively minor amendment, but it was thought that it would be useful. And therefore, I move that we do concur, and if there are no questions, I suggest use of the morning roll call.
Motion is to concur. Any questions? Any questions? Senator Hill. Would you ask for a question, ma'am?
Yes.
Would you yield, Senator?
Yes.
Please proceed, Senator Hill.
In looking at the amendments on the screen, it's basically allowing the executive directors of the Department of Revenue and the Department of Health to limit the liability of a medical marijuana contractor. Why would this be necessary?
The amendments, I believe, are to limit the liability of the state officials.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I believe the amendments limit the liability of the state official. Let me look.
No, it's to limit the liability of the contractors, not the state agencies.
It's to limit the liability of those the state contracts with. In other words, the state contractors or the people who will be performing the functions that the Department of Health itself cannot perform because the Department of Health doesn't have the staff to do this. So they're going to have to employ people. I don't know that they would employ a CPA firm, but that's the sort of people they would be employing. And this would essentially allow the department to grant to them some limitation on their liability.
Okay, and also, I believe in one of the House bills, they suspended the bid process for a year. Is that in this bill?
I do not know about the House bill. That was in the underlying Senate bill.
Okay. So do you know anything else that this bill does except limits the liability of the medical marijuana contractors?
Are you talking about the underlying bill?
Yes, the underlying bill.
Yes, it's a fairly comprehensive bill that we passed earlier in the session.
I don't understand why we'd be limiting liability. Thank you.
I suggest use of the morning roll call.
Any other questions? Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. President. Question, please.
You yield for
Yes.
a question, Senator.
Yes.
Thank
You
you.
recognize
Thank
for a
you.
question, Senator Hobson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. What are the proposed duties of the contractors that will be contracting with the State Department of Health?
Well, as you know, the State Department of Health was given the obligation of implementing the entire marijuana program. And that will involve such things as issuing the permits and all of that. There are, I believe, technical matters concerning the quality of the product and on and on.
Further to Senator Hill.
But again, it's things that they simply cannot do in-house, and neither can any other agency.
Sure. I mean, I understand what's being proposed. I just want to understand what the duties are, and if we've got a company that's doing something and they, sorry.
I am too. I will say once again,
it's this fancy,
years ago we had
expensive
a perfectly
system.
good sound system, and until they started improving it, we didn't have these problems. Heaven knows how much money we have spent on this sound system, which is infinitely worse than the sound system we had when I first got here. I'm sorry.
Is that germane to the point?
Is there a good one now?
No, I'm trying to figure out what they're doing, because the concern I think that Senator Hill is questioning is if we're providing immunity or limitation of liability to these people. There are a couple of points. One is if they're doing something with the marijuana and they contaminate it, let's say, the cannabis, and it's contaminated, should they get limitation of liability? I don't know what duties are being handled, but if they are, I don't know that I'm comfortable allowing them to limit liability. And the second part of it would be if they're going to be a pseudo arm of the state will contract with them to perform these services. Wouldn't it be better if they had something like a tort claims, maybe a cap on what their liability should be, rather than, and I don't know what it is it straight, it's not immunity, I don't think, but there's a limitation of liability, and it may be limited to the amount of the contract, and their contract may be $10,000, but yet they contaminate the cannabis and it causes, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of damages, and that's what I would like to know.
I don't think that they're going to be contracting with people who will be in a position to contaminate huge amounts of cannabis. That's not my understanding of exactly how the legislation works. But I believe it's common that particularly in trying to employ people who deal with computers, for example, that in the contract with the computer company, there is a limitation of liability because the computer company doesn't want to accept the liability, which would be unlimited if something goes awry. I'm not an expert in government contracting, but I do not believe this is an unusual provision.
Well, I think it is in a lot of government. I do a number of government contracts, and I think typically the vendors that try to limit their liability, we exclude that based on the Attorney General's opinion of the constitutional provision that would not allow the state to waive or forgive their claims. So I worry about that too. Are we creating a situation where we're going to now start having to have all of these groups come in to say, well, we want the same limitation on liability that the cannabis contractors got?
Well, there are a couple of things we could do. I believe procedurally we're somewhat in an awkward position. We could vote on the bill and hold it on a motion to reconsider and see if you can get your questions answered. I think, I'm not up to speed on this, but I think our options are somewhat limited when we're at this procedural posture. I just had no idea that any of this was the least bit controversial. I'm sorry. I would never
Well, I'm sorry that I was
mislead people.
Unaware of the proposal until now, but I'm fine doing that. I would like to get those questions answered because I do think it creates a potential problem for us, not just on this measure, but long term if we start creating waivers for limitation of, or waivers of liability and start limiting liability.
As frantic as the State Department of Health is to get this legislation enacted, I think if we pass it, if that's the will of the Senate, and hold it on the motion to reconsider that you'll probably have your answers pretty quick.
I will endeavor to do that. Thank you very much,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
I certainly have no problem with holding it on a motion to get these questions answered.
Senator Hill, do you have a question?
I do have one follow-up.
You yield to Senator Hill?
Yes.
Senator Hill.
Listen to Senator Hobson's questioning. I share his concerns about setting a precedent for limiting liability for state contractors, but I think, wouldn't you agree that one of the contractors would have to be some laboratory or some testing facility for the product?
I think that would be likely.
Okay, and I see it as a serious problem if we would limit the liability of somebody that was tasked with testing a product for concentration, purity, or whatever they would test for. So I agree with Senator Hobson. I just think this is going down the wrong road, and I understand that this is something that probably you need to think about too, because we first thought it was for the agencies, but it's for the contractors. So I think it's just a bad thing to do. And if we can't find somebody that would do the job without limiting liability, then we got bigger fish to fry, maybe. Would you agree?
No.
Why not?
First of all, I don't share your concern about this. I'm not concerned that the State Department of Health is going to mismanage this. Secondly, I also support the underlying legislation. I don't think it's perfect, but I think it goes a long way to complying with what the voters wanted in the referendum. And thirdly, I think it's time to get this on the road, and that if we don't start moving, it's delaying things. So I personally do not share your concerns, nor do I think that it's particularly unusual to have limitation to liability in contracts. I may be misinformed, but I don't think that that's, and if that general concept concerns you, I think that horse has been out of the barn for some time.
Well, limiting the liability on somebody that tests for something that's supposed to be medicine, I don't think is that far out of the realm of questioning why we would do it. Thank you.
I yield for a question, and I didn't see a question there, so I assume there's nothing to respond to. Mr. President, I suggest use of the morning roll call.
All right. No, did you say you yield, no more questions, or do you?
No, I did not say that.
Oh, you do have one more question.
I'll yield for a question, yes.
Senator Blackwell, he decided not to ask you that question. It was just answered, Senator. So I have another one. Senator Sparks, you have a question.
A question, Mr. President.
You yield, Senator Sparks.
Thank you,
yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Sparks.
This limitation deals with information technology is all I see in this. Would that be correct, Mr. Chairman?
As I say, I looked at the amendment, and it sure seemed to me to be non-controversial. It's on the screen, it says whatever it says.
And it appears only to affect information technology contracting. I just wanted to make sure.
I just think it is I looked at it and it struck me as something that's typical. Other people have questions, and one way to get those questions resolved might be to hold it on a motion to reconsider and let them have time to look at it more carefully.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Seeing no more questions, the motion is, Senator, you made a motion that used the morning roll call for final passage. Anyone object to this procedure? Does anyone wish to be recorded as voting no? Okay. Senator McDaniel, Senator Chisholm, Senator Branning, Senator Williams, Senator Parks, Senator McClendon, Senator Barrett, and Senator Hill. Anyone else? Senator Hobson. Please read, no one else? Please read off those voting no, Mr. Clerk.
Voting no or nay. Williams, Parker, McClendon, Park. Williams, Parks, McClendon, Hobson, Branning, Chisholm, McDaniel, Barrett, and Hill.
And please add Suber as voting no. Anyone else? Seeing none, please, I'm sorry, Senator Thompson voting no. Anyone else? If not, use the morning roll call suggested. So record those as voting no and all others voting aye.
I enter a motion to reconsider.
Senator, motion to reconsider, please. He's the chairman? Yeah. I would say add the chair, but you are the chair, so. All right, I guess that's it. We'll go to announcements at this time. Who wish? Senator Horn, I'm sorry.
Introduction of a resolution out of order.
You're recognized. Please read the resolution. Yeah, read the title, please.
A resolution recognizing Dr. Aline Stingley of Jackson, Mississippi as a recipient of USA Today's Women of the Year Award as a Mississippi honoree and commend her civic and charitable contributions.
Senator Harkins.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Finance Committee will meet at 11 o'clock for a nomination hearing. We'll meet at 11 o'clock in room 216.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Barnett.
Announcement, Mr. President.
You're recognized for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Corrections will have confirmation hearings tomorrow at 11 a.m. in room 216.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Blackwell for an announcement.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to remind the body that the Mississippi Cannabis Patients Alliance will be hosting the legislatures for a reception at the old Capitol Inn, 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock. There'll be heavy hors d'oeuvres and open bar, but no samples.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Blunt.
We have a Senate Gaming Committee meetings tentatively scheduled for Thursday at 11 o'clock in room 216. We hope to hear from one nominee at that meeting, Thursday at 11.
Thank you, Senator. I do have one announcement. As all of you are aware, the unveiling of the portrait for former Governor Phil Bryant started at 10:45 today. Is that correct? 10:30? I thought it was 10:45. Anyway, they're having that. Anyone like to attend? Senator Carter, did you?
Adjourn to memory.
You're recognized.
When the Senate adjourns today, I ask that we do so in the memory of Judge Ishai's mother from Gulfport, Mississippi.
Thank you, Senator. Please read off the meeting announcements. Mr. Clerk.
Finance will meet today at 11 a.m. in room 216 for confirmation hearings. Appropriations will meet 1:30 p.m. today, room 216. Judiciary Division A will have confirmation hearings at 2 p.m., room 409.
Okay, seeing no further announcements, Senator Polk, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate stand in recess until 5 p.m. today, at which time the Journal will reflect that we're adjourned until 10 a.m. tomorrow.
Senator moves we stand in recess until 5 p.m. today, at which time Senate Journal will reflect that we stand adjourned until 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. All in favor say aye. All opposed no. The ayes have it. Senate stands in recess.